Hey everybody, welcome to Urban Meyer's Pint House in Columbus, Ohio, the greatest city in the world. Springtime is upon us. The spring game is here on Saturday. This is a very special edition of the Weekend Kickoff. It's brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. It feels so good to be back here with Jeff Heuerman, Zach Boren, Bobby Carpenter, and Tyvis Powell. Four guys who know what it's like to play in this very competitive spring game, right, Zach?
So competitive.
All right,
I don't even remember any of them after the nights.
I think
after
the best one was probably Urban's first year when he actually did the draft, where he did Braxton versus KG.
Yeah.
And they actually drafted teams. Outside of that, it was just
because it became a carnival for you guys. Like it's become even more so. We're like, hey, you have a little bit of football, but then eventually you had like Cardale out there like throwing at dummies, and they got like the student races.
Yeah.
I mean, like
the spring game is more of a celebration that spring football is over than anything else.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Literally.
See, don't rain on everybody's parade. We get into it. It's a glimpse at the Buckeyes, and the media gets to make some assessments.
The one thing about
that's because these guys were established starters. Now you get when you lose as much as you did this year, like they do want to see a little bit of how these guys can operate.
And they do. They throw tests at them. You know what I'm saying? In situations that are difficult, and they want to see how guys manage it and handle it.
Especially the young guys. You know, in the spring game, they do the TV cameras are out.
Yeah.
Some fans are there. They put you in certain situations that you aren't used to, right? And that's what it's about. Because for those young guys in high school, you never practice those things. You found yourself in some of those situations in games, but you are never practicing those. And so a lot of those young guys, man, that's a time for them to get their reps, see some live bullets, and go.
Yeah.
So you look at this as I'm sorry, Todd.
No, you good? Go ahead.
So you were up in 2015. So you were only with Coach Meyer, correct?
Yes.
So, Zach, he was part of the marathon spring games that used to occur with Coach Tressel. We played 4 15-minute quarters,
full
game, atrocious. Whether it was 90 degrees or 45 and rainy, you were going to play that thing out, no continuous clock, none of that nonsense. So you had to – I mean, you were – half of it was a battle of attrition. And so you juxtapose that with that full game, cameras and everything, to what Michigan threw out like last week, where they didn't even tell anybody they had it.
I think they just made up the score. I don't know if they even had one.
I remember Coach Tressel's spring games. Coach Tressel's spring games, they used to have like one of the most veteran head refs in the Big Ten, and we'd always be talking to him. He'd have the youngest crew with him because they knew at Coach Tressel's spring game, those guys were going to get a full-on game, live bullets. They were going to be able to really see what a live football game looked like.
That's the stuff that we need to have back so we can evaluate this young team.
Y'all make me feel like I done missed out on something.
No.
Well, I was going to ask for the favorite memories of the spring games that you guys have been part of, but Jeff said he doesn't even remember any of them.
He's lying.
I'm trying to think back.
I remember we did this spring game at the Bengals stadium one year.
That's right, you did.
Oh, yeah, with the construction. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I see. I don't remember that.
Well, my favorite memory is probably I think I had a pick my first year. And then
keep that ball too?
No, I ain't keep that one. But see, my last year I picked Cardale off. And then I just, he was my roommate, so I got to see him every day and just rub it in his face.
Your son.
First of all, I don't know why he even tried me though. He literally seen me covering this dude. He should have known. Bro, you room with me. You know I'm like that. Why would you even try me?
I remember my first spring game when we wore those digital camo helmets.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, remember?
I wasn't there for him. I'm sick.
Yeah.
That's when you were a 3-month-old freshman, freaking out, going into the Horseshoe for the first time.
Yeah, nervous. Spring game, Yeah.
That's key, getting the nerves out of the way for young guys. That's part of it. And that's why
100%.
I don't understand, why the team up north, didn't even televise it. Part of it is to put your guys in competitive situations, put them in competitive situations in front of fans, and then have TV cameers in there. All that.
The game day experience.
It's part of it going through that whole game day process because there's no scrimmages in college. You don't have preseason.
They're coming
this
from
is
high
it.
school.
Yeah.
They're a basketball school now. They don't even.
There'll be guys tomorrow, even, what are there, 16,000 fans?
Yeah,
20,000.
20,000 fans. There'll be guys tomorrow. That's the most fans they've ever played in front of,
The crazy thing is, Jeff, they've got early enrollees who weren't able to visit. Travion Henderson, the #1 running back in the country, has never been in the Horseshoe. He's never been to a game. He's never seen the fans. And granted, Saturday's not going to be, what it's going to be like in September when everybody gets to come back, and maybe that thing will be closer to a capacity. But it's wild. your coach, Urban Meyer, used to talk about that. Ryan Day's like, all right, we'll get through this experience. We want to see how they perform when people are watching. I know that last Saturday, a live scrimmage and full pads with tackling counts more for the coaches in evaluation, but surely there's a little bit difference when you guys get into the Horseshoe for a spring game and maybe a little more butterflies for that.
Yeah, you definitely get the jitters. I mean, like I say, because they'll get a little glimpse of it, but you get, like, fan reactions to stuff now. So, like, now if you make that big hit, you get the ooh, you get that stuff. You're like, okay, you just got to get them nervousness out. But yeah.
And especially a lot of these guys, you'll get some of the freshmen that came in that enrolled early, or even some of the guys who are, I guess, rising sophomores who have played and you were on the team last season. This is the first time that a lot of those guys will actually be in there and be like on television. This will be broadcast, on BTN. It's going to be nationally out there. And so all your dudes are going to be texting you like, it doesn't matter if the game doesn't mean anything. If you get beat, believe me, you're going to come back to a phone that's filled with messages about whatever, good or bad. And it's going to be the whole, you have to relive the game scrolling through everything that's been said. And so that's real. So even though there's really no quote like winner and score, like you're winning and losing on every play.
It counts.
And so it counts.
I counted my catches in spring game.
I'm sure you did.
That was like
he finished his career with 15 receptions, 10 of them in the spring game.
It's different for tight ends, right? You got to count it.
Even the Saturday scrimmage, that they had last week, I'm counting those. Yeah, that's a career reception. I didn't have that many.
The big thing about the spring game is, especially for the young guys, so much of once you get to the college football level and even the pros, so much of the game is in between the ears, right? So much of it is mental, your confidence, the way you kind of carry yourself. And so many of these young guys, when you make some good plays in the spring game, they're going to be able to use that momentum into the summer, into fall camp. Like, they need to make some plays here to gain some confidence between the ears, just so when they go in the fall camp, hey, I've got some confidence. Hey, I know I can go out there and play. I know I can hang with these guys. If you go out there and you kind of go through the motions and, like Bob said, your buddies are busting you for getting roasted on something, that goes a long way, especially knowing you can't do anything about it until August.
When you go back to Kingies and Pickerington and everybody's sitting there, oh, Zach, what happened on this? You got blown up on that. So this way, the other side of that is, when Coach Maratti's getting on you in the summer, you can say, look me up on YouTube, man. Watch the plays I made in the spring game.
I'm sure that Coach Mick really gets into that spring game highlight reel for winner-loser days.
Are they going to circle it up?
They got to.
Do they circle it up tomorrow?
I think so.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to. That right there gets you going for sure. That's because you don't want to lose in front of all the people like that.
And especially being an older guy, you're kind of like, man, I hope I'm going to get in there today.
You be sitting there getting in the back. All right, y'all.
Man, See, the other thing is you guys all, I know the two of you, and I can't remember yours, Zach, you guys had good weather for all your spring games. I did most of them on the sideline, and it was nice. It was warm. Man, my going to my senior year, it was about 45 and rain. It was atrocious.
I feel like we had a year like that.
We may have had one.
I think we did one.
These guys have been like.
I think it was when you were in Cincinnati. It wasn't a beautiful day.
No, we did one because it was at the. I thought it was at the Woody. We had to do No, maybe not. Maybe that was something else.
Misremembered.
I don't know.
All those hits to your tiny head.
Oh my God! Look, you got room to talk.
Hey man, I can remember all my spring games.
We'll take it up with Heuerman.
I want to see what you got to say about it.
Mine wasn't concussion based. Mine was High Street based. Post game, High Street based.
Just remembers after the party. That's fine. I understand. So, we know that there'll be a limited, value to this for the coaching staff. That the previous 14 matter more. But for those of us who are watching and trying to get a feel for what this 2021 Buckeyes roster looks like, who do you guys want to see perform?
The secondary.
All right, Tyvis, because I was going to say, let's leave the quarterbacks out of it for now. We'll get to that.
The secondary, man. It's just last year I just had to – we dealt with it just all year about how bad it was, how they was making plays. It's time Coach Combs finally got a chance to come in and put his scheme in and change the coverages up. And I just want to see how they do, man. There's a lot of young guys that need to step up, bring some depth to the secondary because they was very thin last year. And this is the time to let some of those freshmen and some of those sophomores start stepping up and making plays.
Coach, they're thinner than you right now. I mean, they've got they've got Seven Banks out. You've got Cameron Brown out.
Court
so,
Williams.
Court Williams, my man, a.k.a. Jailhouse, was one of his nicknames growing up. That's what he's told me.
What I'm saying, man, it's time for the young guys
hopefully
to
you
earn
can
scholarship, man.
I went over their practice today and looking at Watts. I mean, Watts is like my height playing corner. I mean, he's the full 6'. I thought he was an outside linebacker, to tell you the truth.
He's a huge dude.
Huge dude. You got, Legend Cavalos out there. I mean, he's looking really good. You're working in these young guys. Like, it's been very impressive. And so they're going to go against some elite receivers. That whole top 6, 7, 8 receiving group is really good. So that'll be great for the DBs. For me, I'm going to look a little bit at the linebackers.
Of course you are.
Well, you're replacing 4 guys. And so Eichenberg's had a pretty good spring. You've got Taraja Mitchell in there. You got Kayvon Pope. It's 2 of the older guys. Obviously, Dallas Gann's hurt. But Eichenberg and then Cody Simon, a.k.a. Carly Simon, who I really like. They're fantastic. Help recruit him, by the way. Help recruit him. He's full-on dude.
You helped recruit him by calling him Carly Simon?
That's not what I said to him. But he's a full-on dude
Just
now.
a mnemonic device?
Well, I told Mick, I'm like, I saw these dudes, and it's been like 18 months. I'm like, all of a sudden, man, they came back like all thick-necked and everything, like looking like straight-on young men. And so Cody Simons looked really good. Eichenberg, like those 2 guys, like young players, they could really be the future, I think, at that position. So I'm excited to kind of see what they're going to be able to do.
I just want to see the defense play. I was over at practice today for a little bit.
You want to see that D, don't you?
No, man. They're just young. They are so young. From Haskell Garrett's out. Dallas Gann, who's supposed to be a starter at linebacker, is out. Even on the back end, there are so many guys that Bob already touched on that
That's your
are
guy
out
Jack
this spring.
Sawyer from P-Town, man.
Listen, Jack's got a couple years till he can do anything, okay, Bob?
Right.
But from the standpoint of just a young defense, man, that offense is so good. The O-line, first and second string O-line is so deep at Ohio State. It's probably, my man Mark Pantoni was saying it's probably the best and deepest offensive line they've had in a long time.
So deep.
Obviously, from the wide receiving standpoint, that we all know how talented those guys are. And so it's what will the defense look like with live bullets in the stadium going up against an offense that might be the best in the country?
Hopefully the silver bullets.
Question, who's the fullback?
They don't have one.
Were you the last one to play fullback?
Yeah.
You were.
Yes, they retired.
I mean, that's actually something. You're the last ever
get
fullback
your
at
number
the Ohio
retired.
State University.
Maybe.
They should retire.
Wait a minute.
It'll come back at some point.
Fullback / linebacker.
Yeah.
It'll come back at some
You think?
point. Yeah.
He crossed over to the dark side.
It'll come back.
They are using Mitch Rossi in a little bit of a fullback fashion.
Yeah,
Are
it'll come back.
They just won't. They don't want to call it that because they don't want to go back in time.
Yeah.
To 2012, like that doesn't fit with the spread concepts and all that.
Yeah, they haven't seen. Yeah.
It'll come back.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll pull up some of your highlights and
Oh, we got to get one of these guys. Look at
well, we gotta get a Zach Boren back. Look at
giant meatball.
Got to run some power and some Dave.
For sure, man. Spring game was my time to shine, baby.
the same, bro.
Jeff, what position do you think needs to show up?
Well, obviously, who am I going to talk about other than tight end?
Let's do it.
Everyone loves a good tight end.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Dudes, dudettes, everyone.
If you got a great tight end, like that's an X factor in every game. Actually.
Yeah, and with 2 guys converting, one from receiver and one from defensive end, I think that's going to be interesting. To see how they develop. It's obviously been done. You go. Who's off the top of my head? Antonio Gates. Basketball. But he transitioned from basketball to football in college.
Yeah.
So a football player transitioning from defensive side of the ball to tight end or something. You never know. And I think that'll be interesting to watch and see if one of those guys really has a chance to be successsul at that position. So
is DeMario McCall still playing?
Oh yeah, he's playing nickel. He made a nice play today.
He's playing nickel.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to see that.
Right now with all the injuries, he
came in with you,
in
didn't
the rotation.
No, I think he can't. He been there for a long time. No.
He came in with Zach, I think. That's how long he's been around.
6
years.
I was killing Hilliard.
I could not believe that he came back for year 6.
I was killing Hilliard.
I don't know what you can't believe.
I practiced the other day because I was trying to go. You could have been the first dude to rack up potentially, and they got screwed out of it this year. 7 pairs of gold pants. No college football player, to my knowledge, has ever played 7 years. I go, that would have been unbelievable. You would have been the answer to
It's
Jeopardy.
like mathematically impossible.
Yes.
I mean,
It doesn't work.
how does that?
The Van Wilder of college football he could have been.
Like, you could be a doctor and playing in college football.
He should have thought about that, but hopefully they just get some good weather. Bob, you talked about that nasty one that you had back in your day.
Well, it kills the offense. I mean, nobody, to be honest, like, you got like 2.5 defensive guys up here. Nobody goes to the spring game. No, Zach played both. That's what. But nobody goes to the spring game to go watch like a 13-9 game.
No.
Like, nobody wants to see it. They cheer for long passes. Tyvis is talking about big hits. Yeah, they give you an ooh and ah, but no one said, "Oh, great sack." They're like, "Hey, throw it deep."
Well, they don't let you sack them.
Like,
they don't let you
oh,
sack.
exactly. They're like, "Hey, get out of the way. Keep throwing it." Oh yeah, great long pass. Like, that's all they want to see. And so the fans, and I understand that. It's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna open the game up with like that fade.
No, they really want to see it too with the young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, C.J. Stroud, Jack Miller, Kyle McCord, like that's what people want to see. You know, let's be honest, the NFL's a quarterback game. The college game's starting to go to that. You know, and Ohio State's been lucky the past couple of years with Justin Fields, and now this year, a young dude's got to step up. And I know that's going to be the biggest thing talked about during the game on Saturday and after the game on Saturday is how those quarterbacks play.
Well, Bob got us off on a tangent because I was meaning to talk about the weather because Bryant Heating and Cooling is getting us ready for the summertime. We've got that weather coming up. So it's time to start thinking about your AC. Is it ready? Whether it needs a quick fix or if you need a whole new system, your Central Ohio Bryant Heating and Cooling dealers will do whatever it takes. Hey, I know that for a fact you can rely on them whenever you need to. And going down to the Sugar Bowl.
You've called them before.
Had to call them in December. Heating goes down. Called up Ken Habiger and Bryant Heating and Cooling. They were there that afternoon.
I need them to come to my
out
house
the Ward
for the
house.
cooler.
All right, we'll get you that number. You can rely on Bryant Heating and Cooling to provide exceptional service and to make sure you and your family stay cool and comfortable all summer long. So, Tyvis, we'll get that taken care of for you.
I'll be sweating at night. I need to.
All right. You need to
Well, that's what's going on within the sheets, man. I mean,
So we can't do anything about that, but you can go to Bryant.com. Schedule your AC checkup today. Bryant is doing whatever it takes.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
Here, let me show you how this works.
it takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
So for the quarterbacks, how much stock will you guys put in it? We know that this is a limited value in somewhat, but quarterbacks are still throwing the football. Defense is still trying. What can they prove? Like, aren't they? The second Tyvis threw down the challenge for the secondary.
It's gonna be skewed though because you gotta see who got what weapons.
All right.
Like some people go, one quarterback might got the two good receivers.
Well, that would be unfair if they both if one guy.
That's what I'm saying. So they gotta find it. They probably gonna make them switch.
Okay.
Like
You want to know something?
There's plenty of good receivers. I'll tell you
there's
that.
you got a point there.
You want to know something? If there was one position where I would put a lot of stock into this game and like actually say, hey, who's the difference maker, so to speak, right? In this game, you can still intercept the pass. You can still break up passes, right? You're not tackling. So from a running back standpoint, it's like, Travion Henderson might look good, but he knows he's not going to get tackled. From a quarterback position, the ball can get picked off. The ball can get deflected, right? There can be PBUs. There can be everything. These guys, and we all talked about walking into the shoot for the very first time, knowing like, hey, I'm the guy. Jack Miller and C.J. Stroud are going to be on separate teams. They're going to have a pit in their stomach a little bit, right? There's going to be some nerves going on. So if there's one position battle that probably holds some weight from the spring game, it's most definitely the quarterback position because to them, everything's live for for this. They're not going to be getting sacked, but other than that, there's going to be guys in their face that they'll tap off for a sack, but they got to get the ball out of their hands. They need to make precise throws. This is almost as game-like as you can get for those guys.
It is, and the fact, like you said, Zach, it'll be kind of like a glorified 7-on-7. There'll be pressure, but there's not the fear of pain of getting hit. But
but they'll still count sacks in this game.
Oh, yeah,
they'll count sacks.
They ain't going to stop the game.
These guys have a full complement.
Yeah, they will. They'll blow the whistle.
Yeah, maybe.
They'll blow
It's more
the
of
whistle.
it's a mental test too. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? As far as the young guys being able to process the plays and translating, how they practiced, the last, 3-4 weeks, putting it on the field, on the spring game. And, because it's different when you're in that environment and, processing the plays and remembering the plays and things like it. There's another, level to it in that environment, and watching how guys can process that, especially the young guys, because this is their last true, what I'm saying, kind of in the stadium test before the home opener.
And you talk about mental. This would be the first time where they've got a live, quote-unquote, live. They haven't practiced, but a live play clock. Live play 100%. Clock, right? A 35-second play clock. They'll have that. Now, granted, they try and mock that in practice, but it's not the same as a spring game. You will have that. You'll have the defense giving you different looks. It'll be full pads. It's how do you process calling the play, right, getting it from the sideline, seeing the play clock go down, know you got to make some checks, know you got to get people in line, make sure everything's set properly before the ball snapped, right? That is a mental test to these young dudes, and it's the first time it's going to be the most game-like for them.
And if you watch close enough, there'll be one or two, receivers, running backs that they get a little, go, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like the play comes in, they're not 100%, and that's all part
over
of just
there.
over there,
I got a question.
Yeah.
Who wins the circle drill between the quarterbacks?
Oh, I don't know.
They won't do it. They won't do it.
I don't think.
That's tradition.
No way. They won't do it.
It might be a tradition.
They have to do it.
It's not Urban Meyer anymore. It's Brian Day. It ain't going to happen.
Got something there.
You can't put, when you have a battle, you put one of those dudes in there, like one of them,
and one of them gets hurt.
Separates their shoulder. Like,
not going to happen.
It's a quick whistle.
It ain't worth figuring out who wins the circle drill.
Tyvis wants to go full contact on Saturday. He wants the quarterbacks in the circle drill.
You got to get they got to have like the full experience.
Coach, quarterback power is over.
It's over.
That is left.
No, it's not.
Done.
No,
everybody respects a quarterback that has no problem tucking it and going in there to try to get that extra yard. They fight for that guy.
You know when you respect that? In the semifinals.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't respect that against Rutgers on a 1st and 10 in the first quarter.
No. Or the spring game.
That's called stupidity.
We're not going to be evaluating C.J. Stroud's mobility on Saturday.
Justin Fields, take off against Clemson. Take off against Bama. Hey, Rutgers, slide it out or throw it out of bounds.
I can't say I disagree.
I just thought you wanted a real live game on Saturday.
Wouldn't you want to see that?
Well, of course I do.
All right, so I don't know why these three over here is against.
You don't want guys getting hurt.
Hit them anyway. Like,
they got time to recover.
There's a couple times in practice.
Since when did they actually,
Ever since
Cardell was live.
Hey, ever since Cardell Jones and JT Barrett weren't quarterbacks anymore because they were built like bowling balls. Once both of them are gone, guess what? No hitting the quarterback anymore.
Okay, because here's why. I know you're trying to get out of here.
I'm not.
You guys were both there. You tell me the experience you had when you saw number 5 walk over on the sideline in practice with his arm hanging out of socket. Now, you knew the ending now, so it's a happy ending, which is what Austin likes best.
How did I feel?
But you saw number 5 walking out there with his shoulder hanging out.
How did I feel? I was looking up when's the supplemental draft.
100%.
Is it too late?
I was sitting there like, shoot, the whole season might be messed up.
That's why you don't hit the quarterbacks in the spring.
But he didn't get hit though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, anything can happen at any point. Why subject yourself to further risk? Tyvis, I know you're fast, I know you're brave. Let me blindfold you and let you run across Riverside Drive. Oh, you're fast, you can make it, but what if I get hit by a car? But what if you don't? I mean, that's like the argument you're making right now.
You got
Don't subdue yourself or subject
quick
yourself.
Quick whistle, Bob.
Quick whistle.
Just a quick whistle. Look, just a little pop. Just a boom. That's it.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
Boy, if they can't take one hit in the circle drill,
they can't take a hit in the game.
That's a terrible argument. That's a terrible argument. Stop. That's a terrible argument.
I'm actually now on Tyvis' side.
Thank you.
That's a terrible argument.
Quick little whistle. Just one little pop.
We talked all last year about
just
Justin
a little bit.
Fields.
See how it feels.
Yeah, we talked all last year about
lines.
limiting the number of times Justin Fields got hit. We talked about it all last year right here on this stage. How can Ohio State limit the amount of times Justin Fields gets hit?
Yeah.
Guess what? Count him number 1 on the spring game if you want to put those guys in there, right? C.J. Stroud and Jack Miller. Hey, hits number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're going to tally up on the year if you let them go live on Saturday.
I trust, and you should try. Mick's going to get these dudes' bodies right.
Yeah.
One circle drill ain't going to make a difference at all.
Not needed. Run it in games that matter, games of consequence. Jeff Heuerman's the only guy that counts his spring game stats in the actual stat sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had a pancake in the circle drill one time, and I put that. You know,
Yep.
I got a Buckeye sticker for that.
I'm just gonna play devil's advocate for Tyvis.
Oh, no.
We'll be done with the circle drill, but aren't there times like you think about C.J. Stroud, no throws in a college game, Jack Miller, no throws in a college game, Kyle McCord, early enrollee. You don't know what they can do if they've not been hit,
Yeah,
right?
and here's the thing. You might never know what they can do if they get hit and they dislocate their shoulder and can't play.
Guess what? They will get hit one time. It will be 2 weeks before the season opener when the Ohio State has their big main scrimmage that it's on the Saturday 2 weeks before the first game.
But they don't let them hit the quarterbacks.
No, quarterbacks will get hit then.
No,
that's when they'll get hit.
No, they're not.
They'll get hit.
They will not.
I'm saying for young guys, Austin's argument. If you guys would listen, I swear, if I was your wife, I would. Oh man, hey, I'm telling you this though, if Austin's argument was these young guys, how do you know what they can do when they haven't been in that situation when they get hit? Those young guys will get hit. If it was Justin Fields in that scrimmage, they're not getting hit. They're not getting hit in the spring game. But these guys haven't been hit yet. So 2 weeks before the season, that's the first time they'll start getting hit because Ryan Day and those coaches know, we all know, you got to take a couple hits before your body almost gets used to it, right, and gets conditioned to taking hits. Yep. Those guys are going to have to at some point to endure a season. They will start that 2 weeks before the season opens.
I remember Braxton used to always want to get hit on the first play of the game. I don't know if he's ever said that publicly
because it gets it out of the way.
Yeah, no, but he always, I mean, go back and check, but he always wanted to be hit. He wanted to carry the ball the first play of the game, get hit, and got him into got his juices flowing and got him into the game. So, I think there's a little valid point there.
Thank you.
I'm very thankful you're not my wife.
Thank you.
What did we live? 2 years we lived together? That's all I could hit.
I'm happy that we all have come to the agreement that quarterback
Zach told me,
hit.
Jeff, he used to pull his pocket out and you used to fall around and hold on to it. So
I
don't know what they got going on.
That never came from me.
I'll tell you what.
That tells me that we have gone off.
Hey, how's the railing on those front steps? Did you get that?
He sold it. He sold the place.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
I remember one night we came home and I don't know, something got me irritated. I kicked the whole railing that went up to the front of the house. Off the steps that went into the bushes.
I think the land.
You should have put a red note on the door.
Red note, it's my house. He was living there. Red note on
You should have evicted him.
That landlord understood. He'd been there before.
Yeah, right. I mean, it wasn't anything he
It was after the spring game.
Probably.
He didn't get them 15 catches.
That's the biggest night of the year for the Buckeyes after the spring game, right? That's on Saturday at noon. Can't wait to be there. Can't wait to see some football again. No matter how much it matters, it's still a glimpse at what these Buckeyes can do in the fall. We'll talk about it next week, Bob, on Lettermen Live when we're back at Roosters. Maybe these guys will want to come hang out with us there. But till then, appreciate Jeff Heuerman, Zach Boren, Tyvis Powell, Bobby Carpenter hanging out with us at Urban Meyer's Pint House. This has been Weekend Kickoff, brought to you by Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. Hope everybody enjoys that spring game Saturday at noon on BTN. We'll see you there.